Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to is a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message that she sent to me reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Rutendo, not a real name. I am a 36-year-old woman living here in Harare, in Zim. For the past few months, I have been carrying a heavy burden of guilt and regret that has been consuming me alive. What I did was quite unforgivable, and I am sharing my story in the hopes that someone somewhere can learn from my own mistakes. It all started last year when I was working at a local factory. I had been there for several years, and I had prided myself on being a hard-working woman and a dedicated woman. But there was one woman, my workmate, whom I will call Chipo, so that the story can make sense, not a real name, who seemed to overshadow me in everything that she was doing. She was beautiful, light-skinned, she was popular, well-liked by our colleagues, and even our supervisors favored her. I won't lie, I was jealous. The bitterness grew inside of me like it was a poison, and I kept on thinking of all the ways that I could do just trying to hurt her. I even ordered some skin lightening creams all the way from Zambia, and I kept on bleaching and bleaching. But when people started noticing that I was bleaching, instead of the men telling me that I looked more beautiful than I used to be, they started comparing me, and they were saying that Chipo, she was someone who was a natural yellow born, yet I was not that natural. This really hurt me. One day, I overheard some gossip in the break room where we used to have our lunch and our tea break. A few of our co-workers were talking about how Chipo had supposedly been bad-mouthing me behind my back. They said that she had told the boss that I was lazy and I was incompetent, and she was trying to get me fired. My blood boiled with anger. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and I could not think about the ways that I could get back at her. And at that same time, that was when my relationship crumbled to the ground. If it was not that my relationship had crumbled to the ground, I don't think that I was ever going to bewitch her. But at that time, simply because my relationship had crumbled to the ground, that was when I thought that it was far much better for me to bewitch her, because I honestly thought that she was the one who had told my boyfriend that there was this other man. This man, I had not yet started dating him as such, but this man, he used to bring me lunch at work. So everyone knew that this was what I was doing, flirting with another man. So that same evening, my boyfriend did not come to pick me up like he used to do after work when I had knocked off. So I called that guy, the one who wanted to date me, and I was angry, and I said, please, can you come and pick me up? So he came and he picked me up. The moment that I got into his car, I saw Chipo as he was also walking out of the factory premises, and she looked at me, and then I looked away because I knew that she was my enemy. When I arrived at the location where I am staying, then my boyfriend was so angry at me and told me that he knew that I was cheating on him, and I thought that Chipo was the one who had told her. In my rage, I did something that I now deeply regret. I then went to see a traditional healer, a friend of my mom, someone that I had been speaking with for a very long time. There were some charms that I needed because I wanted my boyfriend to tell me that he wanted me to come and stay with him, but we were still negotiating because that woman, she wanted a lot of money. I went to that healer and I told the healer about Chipo and how she had wronged me and destroyed my relationship and wanted to get me fired. And I asked for a way to teach her a lesson. The healer then gave me some charms and instructions on what I was supposed to do, and I was told that these charms, they were going to make her to suffer. I followed the instructions. I returned back home late at night when my mom was fast asleep. I then got up and then I started to use the charms. So these charms that I used, there were some eggs that I was supposed to break, and then I had to write a name on a piece of paper, and after I had written a name on a piece of paper, I had to take some needles which I had bought and a red garment, and I had to pin the red garment with the needles. I then walked into this other bushy area and I looked for a place where two rods met, and then I left everything there and I crushed eggs on top of that paper that had a name written on it, and I returned back home. When I returned back home, I heard that there was something that was following me, but the healer had told me that I was never supposed to look back, to turn back if there was something that would be following me, because this was the demon that I had gone to pick up at the crossroad so that the demon can start to fight with Chipo. Soon after that, strange things started happening to Chipo. She became ill, losing her energy. She was so thin, she would miss work frequently, and everyone noticed how her once bright spirit seemed to fade. Then at that time, I really felt like I was victorious. And then she passed away. One afternoon, that was when we heard that she had passed away and she was at her home. So at that time, she had been taken to the villages. When she had been taken to the villages, then she thought that she needed to exercise. So she got up from where she was lying down underneath this other tree. As she was walking back home, that was when she was struck by lightning. She was struck down by lightning, not during the raining season. The news spread like wildfire. When I heard this, I did not know if I was supposed to celebrate, but I was horrified. I rushed back after work to that healer's house and I told her that this woman, she had been struck by lightning. The healer then laughed at me and she said that you can see that I am very powerful. Those eggs that you were busy crushing, the demon that I told you that you had gone to collect, that demon is the one that has caused lightning to strike her down. And at that time, that was when I realized that this woman, what she had done, we had never agreed. The healer had never mentioned anything about lightning, and I realized that things had gone horribly wrong. After this woman had been buried, only a few days later, that was when I learned the truth. The gossip that I had heard about Chipo, it was not true. Someone had twisted the story, and Chipo had never said those things about me. She had never tried to get me fired, and she was not the person whom I thought she was. That was when the realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I had destroyed an innocent woman's life. First of all, whenever I try to get into a relationship with a man, the man will just break up with me in such a painful way, so much that I think that it is the spirit of this woman that I got killed. A spirit is the one that is causing all of this bad luck into my life. I don't know what to do to make this right. I have been praying, I have tried to pray, asking God for forgiveness, but I cannot undo what I did in the past. I can't take back what I did. And this woman, I just wish that she had survived that lightning strike, but she did not. She passed away. When my workmates went to her funeral, I could not go there because I was too scared. I said, what if I go there? Then it happens that maybe I start to see a spirit. Then what are people going to say? So I did not go there, Brother Nashi. This is my own confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. That was the narration of the message that she sent to me. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.